The last step is samadhi. This step is perfection. All the sentences used by others in the world will not be heard by you. You will hear only one thing from all these sentences. That is the truth of their existence. For example, if a person says, my wife is coming to Brussels by the aeroplane today, and if for the past 12 years his wife and himself are separated, divorced, still he uses the word my wife. What does it mean? Has this word any meaning? Wife. 12 years ago he divorced her and she divorced him. Now he says, he calls her wife. People use words like this. Now when he uses the word wife, it means only the word and not the object. In the daily routine, we use many hundreds of words like this. For example, the word happiness we use like that. We say, I want to be happy. We work day and night and we are fatigued and exhausted. And if your friend asks you, why do you work too much? We say that I want to be happy. The only one thing is missing, that is happiness. It seems once a boy was fishing in a river. An old man came there and asked him, boy, are you studying in the college? The boy said, no, sir. Then the man asked him, don't you want to be happy? Then the boy asked him, what are you doing, sir? He said, it is a big story. I studied in the college very well. Then the boy asked, what was the result? He said, I came first. What was the result? I was selected in a big job. Sir, what was the result? I got big salary every month. Sir, what was the result? I saved much money in the bank. Sir, what was the result? I started an industry in my middle age. Sir, what was the result? I got big profits in my industry. Sir, what was the result? I could purchase a big house to every one of my children. What was the result? I got my children educated. What was the result? I got them married. They are very happy with themselves. What was the result? Now I am free. I am happy. The boy said, without doing all those things, I am now happy. I am quite as free as yourself. That's why I am fishing. So the old man had to search and search and search for tens of years for happiness. To be happy, he had to do many things. Similarly, we do many things to be happy. We go on doing things to be happy, and suddenly we die, and there will be no time to be happy. Because death never informs us that it is coming. So many times we use the word happiness only for the meaning of postponement. Instead of using the word postponement, we use the word happiness. Because many times we lack in common sense. Yeah. But this step brings you happiness and removes every other. The whole world is an experience of happiness. Anyone who wants to follow him will be happy. If you go to a person who has attained samadhi with many ideas in your brain, with many questions to put, with many problems, you will stand there, talk to him happily for 1 hour or 2 hours, and come home and wonder why you forgot all your thoughts. Wonder why you could not ask your question. A second time you try to meet him, you will forget to ask any question at all. A third time you try, the same thing happens. Why? It is because as long as you are there, his mind is your mind. He has not changed your mind, but your mind is changed in his presence. Just like the iron piece near a magnet, as long as it is near a magnet, it behaves like a magnet and not an iron piece. Since you are also having the mind of yogi, it is quite natural that you do not have any problems at all when you are with him. You will immediately understand that there are no problems at all. And his happiness is your happiness. And afterwards you will wonder why you forgot all your questions. This is our regular experience whenever we spend some time with great people. It was the experience with Aurobindo. It was the experience with Ramana Maharshi. People who went to them and spent 15 or 20 days with them, they experienced great initiations from them. They expected great initiations from them, and there was no such ceremony at all. They spent happily, returned home and wondered what happened. They sent us home without giving anything at all. And we had no mind to ask them anything at all. But it is not true that they have not given anything at all. It is true that they have given our existence to ourselves. Our true existence includes no thoughts and ideas and no problems. It is our totality of existence which does not include any environment and its effects upon us. That is what happens when you are in the presence of a person who is experiencing a samadhi. He can live with anyone in his own terms, at the same time being only positive. And this is the ultimate goal of existence. It is only full of action and no reaction. You will find from him anything that is useful to anyone and nothing harmful to anyone. From him, nothing harmful in this creation occurs to anyone at all. And night and day, all his life will be only usefulness to anyone. This is the culmination of the Eightfold Yoga. And after achieving this step, it is our purpose to live a yoga life. Yoga practice is not an end in itself at all. Yoga living is the end. And this yoga practice culminates in our yoga living. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali will give us instructions about yoga practice. And the Bhagavad Gita will give us not only the instructions for yoga practice, but also guidelines to yoga living. So the two books are supplementary to each other. And all the other things described in the other yoga textbooks may be practiced, but the authors of Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali Yoga Sutras are no more responsible for what we practice and what we experience. Only when we practice according to those lines, the real science of yoga will be known and its experience will be experienced. And if we practice all other things, the safety of our results may not be assured by anyone at all. This is about the Eightfold Yoga path. And I thank you all for the opportunity you have given today.